What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today we're looking at the Radiant Charizard Inteleon deck. Ross Coffin placed top 16 at the World Championships with this deck after grinding in from day 1 into day 2. And this deck is going to be for the standard format Sword and Shield through Pokemon Go set. This is pre-Lost Origin, since we do have a couple of events happening in Europe and North America, namely the Bilbao regionals and then Baltimore, Maryland regionals. Over 1,000 players are already registered for that. So we will be getting into plenty of Lost Origin content on the channel, but I wanted to cover some of the meta decks for Baltimore regionals and the other events happening around the world. Before we get into this, shout out to PotownStore.com, the best place to get PTCGO codes, and CardTrooperGames.com, where I just pre-ordered my Lost Origin booster boxes. You could do the same using code Celio for 5% off their already great prices. Use PokemonCard.io for viewing, sharing, and creating deck lists. Check out Beast Coast Pokemon for a whole bunch of great Pokemon content on YouTube over there with our all-star James Beck, who just top 4'd the VGC World Championships. And last but not least, Dragon Shield sleeves, my favorite sleeves to use for tournaments. Use my affiliate link down below. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. Now let's get into this deck profile. This is going to be a little bit more in-depth because I want to make sure y'all really understand why these cards are in the deck and what their purposes are and why the deck is built the way it is. So first, let's touch on the price of the deck, $85 roughly, so it's not that bad. And if you have Radiant Charizard, 4 Irida, and 4 Scoop Up Net, that's essentially the entire cost of the deck is in these cards, essentially. So, but this is kind of budget-ish. I mean, $85 isn't that bad. And like I said, if you already have the Radiant Charizard, then that takes $26 off the price. If you already have the Radiant Charizard and 4 Irida, that takes almost $50 off of the price of building this deck. So you might already have a lot of the cards in your collection if you've been opening packs of the recent sets. So Radiant Charizard is a Radiant Pokemon. You can't have more than one Radiant Pokemon in your deck, but this whole deck is going to be about recycling the Radiant Charizard and using it multiple times. Radiant Charizard is a basic Pokemon with 160 HP. It has the ability Excited Heart. This Pokemon's attacks cost 1 colorless less for each prize card your opponent has taken. And then Combustion Blast for fire and 4 colorless does 250 damage. Now, Excited Heart can make Combustion Blast just cost 1 fire energy and do 250. Also note that with the use of Choice Belt, this attack can do 280, and we also have Galarian Zigzagoon plus 4 Scoop Up Nets to use Headbutt Tantrum to add extra damage, and we have Tool Scrapper in case the opponent has something that gives them extra HP like Big Charm or Toughness Cape. So this Radiant Charizard is going to be the main focus of the deck, and Combustion Blast 250 after the opponent has knocked out a couple of Pokemon. So we use Keep Calling with Sobble. Maybe we leave a Mew out there. Maybe we attack with a Shady Dealings Inteleon using Aqua Bullet to put 120 active and 20 onto a benched Pokemon, which can be very helpful, especially against VMAX decks, because you can do 120 to the active and then 20 damage to a benched VMAX, maybe bringing it down to 290 HP. And then Combustion Blast with a Choice Belt plus 1 Headbutt Tantrum can take the knockout from there. So Radiant Charizard's Combustion Blast, after they knock out a couple of Pokemon, it's really easy to use this because we can just Raihan. So let's actually take a look at Raihan here. So we can use Raihan uh, if something was knocked out to accelerate a basic energy from the discard to one of our Pokemon, and then search our deck for any one card. So a frequent combo you'll be using with this deck is Raihan and energy onto the Radiant Charizard, and then search for the Twin Energy, which provides 2 colorless energy as long as it's not attached to a V or GX Pokemon. So you can start attacking really easily with Radiant Charizard. And then aside from Raihan and Twin Energy, we do also have 3 Magma Basin in the deck, which reads once during each player's turn, that player may attach a fire energy from their discard pile to one of their benched fire Pokemon. Remember, it has to be on the bench when you do this, and then you put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. Magma Basin serves 2 purposes. One, it can accelerate an energy from discard to Charizard, but 2, it can bump Path to the Peak, because Path to the Peak does shut off the Excited Heart ability. So we'll need to remove that from play if we want to attack for an easier energy cost with Combustion Blast. Because if we're attacking with Combustion Blast for 5 energy every time, this card is no longer good. The Excited Heart is really the catalyst that makes Radiant Charizard as playable as it is. Now we have the Sobble, Drizzle, Inteleon line. Let's talk about the Sobble, and this Sobble is why we will want to choose second when we win the coin flip. Keep Calling allows us to search our deck for up to 3 basic Rapid Strike Pokemon and put them onto your bench. This deck is going to want to choose to go second, because going first, there's not a lot that you can do, and there's not a lot that you gain an advantage from on your second turn after you went first. You're not going to start aggressively attacking. This deck isn't very aggressive in the early turns. You might just want to sit behind a Snorlax and use Gormandize to draw cards until you have 7 in your hand. You might want to just keep calling to get 3 more Sobble onto the board, because this Sobble evolution line is going to be very important for the deck. So next we have Drizzle, Shady Dealings. When you evolve this, you get to search your deck for a trainer card, and that can be any of these 41 cards: supporter, item, stadium, tool, etc. A lot of times this will get you Irida, and with Irida we can get even more Drizzle, Sobbles, or Inteleons. We also have Rare Candy, which can be used to go straight from Sobble to Inteleon. Now Inteleon's Aqua Bullet, like I was mentioning, this Aqua Bullet is a strong attack for this deck. This is essentially your only other attack. You'll either be attacking with Inteleon or Radiant Charizard. Now, Aqua Bullet does 120 and also does 20 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. I mentioned this can be really nice to set up multiple Pokemon to be knocked out by Charizard later on, because let's say you keep calling turn 1, they knock out Sobble. Turn 2, you Rare Candy to Inteleon, you Raihan to the Inteleon, and then attach and use Aqua Bullet. You set up some damage, they knock out the Inteleon. From there, they've taken 2 prizes. Now your Charizard can attack for a fire energy and a twin energy, or attach Raihan plus Magma Basin, 3 basic energies. And then from there, after they knock out that Charizard and they've taken 3 prizes, then it becomes really easy to attack with Charizard. You just need an energy and then either Magma Basin or Raihan. So then it becomes pretty easy to attack with Charizard from there. And you really just need the twin energy for that one turn where it's costing a fire plus 2. So this Inteleon is really great tempo attacker on turn 2 when you want second. So your first Sobble gets knocked out. Something to note is that you're going to want to constantly be refilling your bench with Sobble and Drizzle if they are getting knocked out. One thing you could do to prevent that is Manaphy. So if your opponent has something like Radiant Greninja or Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX that knocks out multiple Pokemon at the same time, you're going to want to put Manaphy onto your board to protect your support Pokemon. We also have Rescue Carrier, which is really great. So if a Drizzle or a Sobble or maybe 2 Sobble get knocked out, you can use Rescue Carrier to put them directly back into your hand. Only Pokemon with 90 HP or less, and then just put them back down, have your Pokemon set up for next turn. It's really nice to have a Sobble and at least 1 Sobble and at least 1 Drizzle on the board, so that you have potential to evolve into a Drizzile and an Inteleon next turn. So if you get Marnied or Roxanne, you have extra outs. If you only have Sobbles on your board, or if you only have Drizziles on your board, then it removes either Inteleon or Drizzile as a way to advance your turn on the following turn. You want to be able to evolve either a Drizzile or an Inteleon or both to use their Shady Dealings and get the cards that you need to, advance the game in your favor. Mew with Mysterious Tail, I've gotten a lot of use out of Mew. So um, once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in the active spot, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck, reveal an item card you find there, and put it into your hand. So note that this is only items, but what's nice about this is you can just slap an air balloon on it and keep this on your bench, and every time something gets knocked out, just send up Mew for the turn, you know? Your opponent knocks out, you send up Mew, draw a card for turn. You get to start your turn off with a Mysterious Tail potentially, and then plan your turn from there. Um, Maybe getting an extra item card you wouldn't have had otherwise, and that can really change what you can do with your turn. There is only one boss's orders for bringing Pokemon up from your opponent's bench, but Cross Switcher is going to be really, really strong since you can just search out 2 Cross Switchers with Shady Dealings and Inteleon. You have to play 2 of them at once, and essentially it brings up one of your opponent's benched Pokemon, and then you get to switch your active with one of your bench Pokemon. But you do have to switch your active with your bench, so keep that in mind when playing this card. This is essentially going to be like playing boss's orders, but in an item form, and you have to play 2 of them at the same time. So it can be a little more difficult, but what it means is that you can play Irida or Raihan or Clara in that same turn as you cross switcher, because you will need to use Clara a couple of times in the late game because Radiant Charizard, we can only have one of that in our deck. Now, the 2 ways to get it back are going to be Clara, which allows us to put up to 2 Pokemon and up to 2 energy from our discard into our hand. And then we also have Ordinary Rod, which allows us to shuffle up to 2 Pokemon and up to 2 basic energy from discard into our deck. I believe that essentially covers the whole deck. We didn't go over some of the very, very basic stuff like Level Ball, Quick Ball, Evolution Incense, Energy Search, Hisuian Heavy Ball. These are all search cards, and they are all important to keep in the deck, so I wouldn't cut any of these cards. They're all going to help the deck run consistently, and Hisuian Heavy Ball especially will just take, this will be the last card we take a look at here. It allows you to look at your face down prize cards and get a basic Pokemon from there, and then replace it with Hisuian Heavy Ball. So since this Charizard is so important to our deck, and we can only play one, we're going to want to get that out of the prizes if it is in the prize cards. So you guys can find this deck on limitlesstcg.com. Go to tournaments, go to world championships, and then scroll down here and click on the deck. You can copy it and put it into PTCGO. You can print proxies. You can even click on the card and find where to buy it at for the price. And if you're from Europe, you can convert this to European as well. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any further questions about this deck, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.